Well, hello there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. We're back once again, back to our regular daily schedule, week daily. Every day of the week, we buy a little bit of Bitcoin, depending on the price. We're almost whole coiners, boys. We're almost at a whole coin. We are at, what is it? We are at 98% of a whole coin. So we're super close. We are $1,049.23 away. So wild. Crazy to think. It's crazy to think that we're here. We have done a lot of things to get here. All of them legal. All of them ethical. But it's crazy out there. Round of applause from the live studio audience going out to Mr. Hard Huddle. DCA to BTC, stay humble. That's right. That's what we do. That's what we try to do. Sometimes it's hard to stay humble when Bitcoin is pumping, but you know, we try to contain ourselves. All right. So today we're going to talk about how we got here. We're going to review all of the different techniques that we used to stack like maniacs during the ups and the downs. And I'm going to show you how we went from 0 BTC on this very channel back on May 22nd, 2023. We started with the first $5 purchase. And I'm going to walk you through all the things we've done to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible, and through creative ways and making it almost like a game. But it does help. Okay. So before we jump into that, we'll do that about halfway through the show. First, let's get into the regularly scheduled program. And that is, of course, right now, the Bitcoin strength. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $92,323.54. You can buy, I'm covering it up with my face. You can buy this 1,082 Satoshis for a single dollar today. That's amazing. 1,082 Satoshis for a single dollar. If you break it down to the penny, for 1 penny, you can get 10.83 Satoshis right now at the current price of Bitcoin. So not bad, not too shabby. Why is it important to focus on Satoshis over Bitcoin? Because getting to what Bitcoin is pretty hard, but acquiring as many Satoshis as you can is not that hard, right? You're getting 1,082 Satoshis for $1, and when you do that, that dollar that you set aside in Bitcoin is shielded from inflation, right? It's the same. You have the same properties if you buy a whole Bitcoin, or if you buy half a Bitcoin, or 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin, right? That value that is in Bitcoin is now shielded from inflation, so it should grow in purchasing power over time. Okay, now that is the Bitcoin strength. That is how Bitcoin is valued today in terms of dollars. But in my opinion, that is a arbitrary number, because the dollar continues to go up in quantity, not quality. Oh, what's happening here? Let me fix that. There it goes. Took a while to load up, but there it is. The dollar is going up in quantity constantly, and the value of each individual dollar keeps going down because of it. Okay. Oh, that's cool. The descriptions right here. The national debt, the national public debt outstanding represents the face amount or principal amount of a marketable and non-marketable securities currently outstanding. Blah blah blah. Too much words. The only thing you need to worry about is we're at 38.4 trillion. That's crazy. I don't remember where we were at when we started the show. I think maybe at $33 or $34 trillion when we started the show, right? So the money supply has expanded that much. It's pretty wild. That much. It's crazy. Anyway, that is we just did the Bitcoin strength. Let's jump into the next topic to get this knocked out. For the people that are new to the show, maybe you're watching the show for the first time. Welcome, by the way. My name is Roman. I buy Bitcoin, I save Bitcoin, and I take custody of my own Bitcoin. That's it. That's the whole formula. You can go now. Just kidding. That's the whole formula. Buy Bitcoin, take custody of the Bitcoin, and figure out a way to buy more Bitcoin and do the same thing over and over again. Okay? And that's going to work out better for you than most financial endeavors. All right? Here we go. Let me tell you, new watcher, new listener, why we stack. Why do we stack Bitcoin? What do we mean by stack? Stack is just a fun way of saying save in. We save Bitcoin. We stack Satoshis. We stack fractions of a Bitcoin. What is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. So if you have 100 million Satoshis, you in essence have a whole Bitcoin. Now it's important because it means that the barrier to entry, the barrier to be able to buy Bitcoin is not as high as most people think it is when they first hear about Bitcoin. When they first hear about Bitcoin, they say, oh, it's at $92,000. There's no way I can even buy a whole Bitcoin. Why even buy that? Right? Well, you can't think of it that way. Think of it as one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis, right? And if you can start acquiring Satoshis, just saving Bitcoin, fractions of a Bitcoin, like pennies of a dollar, right? If you start saving pennies of a dollar, you end up with a whole dollar eventually, right? And holding a fraction of a Bitcoin is better than holding no Bitcoin, because that value that you set aside, even if it's like 1/10 of a Bitcoin, the value that the 1/10 of a Bitcoin represents in terms of dollars will go up over time as the dollar continues to debase. So as the dollar debases, it's harder and harder to buy the same amount of Bitcoin because you need more of the weaker dollars to buy the same amount of Bitcoin, right? And you'll see that in the stack recap in a second, right? But that is the reason why we buy Bitcoin, right? Because it's the only way to beat inflation. It's one of the only ways to beat inflation, and stay ahead of the curve, and not have to work your whole life for lesser and lesser life experience, right? Okay, so to wrap it up, short and sweet, the elevator pitch. If I were to meet you on the street and you could say, hey, tell me about Bitcoin, you got 1 minute to tell me about Bitcoin, I will tell you this. Saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents those hours. That's it. That's it. Short and sweet. That is exactly why we save in Bitcoin, because when you save in Bitcoin, you are buying your future time. Okay, let's think of it that way. Every time you save in Bitcoin, you're giving yourself the ability to have to work less into the length of your life. So you can use that time to do whatever you want. If you want to lounge, you can lounge. If you want to do something productive for society, you can do that, right? But you won't have that option if you're saving in dollars and working day and night for less and lesser pay, in money that buys you less and less things, while the prices of things keep going up and up, right? If you take that idea and you follow it through to its conclusion, you're gonna end up broke, right? Broke and old and tired, and have nothing in the end to show for it, right? If you can even make it that long, because when you're saving in dollars, you're losing the value of your savings, you're losing your purchasing power over time, and the more you save in dollars, the more that'll happen, right? Or the faster it'll happen. We always show this meme because it's perfect. It perfectly describes what we're doing here, why we save in Bitcoin. Show you. Imagine working 9 to 5 for 50 years, and then the Fed prints 40% of the total money supply and inflates away 20 years of your work. You'll never be able to retire if you're saving dollars. Okay? You don't have to save in Bitcoin, but as far as I know, it's one of the best options. Okay? So yeah, that's how it works. You know how they're saying that we're talking about getting an interest rate cut? Well, what happens when we get an interest rate cut? Liquidity, the more dollars get printed, right? More people can qualify for loans. When more people qualify for loans, that increases the money supply, because those banks don't lend out physical money. They just create an entry in a balance sheet. And now that $1 million loan for the house, or like $500,000 loan for the house, that's all new money that didn't exist before, that gets created the instant. It gets created the instant that bank issues you your loan, right? And you take that and you multiply it across like the whole country. We're gonna pump the amount of the purchasing power of the dollar is gonna go down so much. They're gonna need more and more of it to buy the same amount of Bitcoin. So you can think of it two different ways. You can think of it as Bitcoin going up, or the purchasing power of the dollar going down. And it's the same thing. I'm a new creature. What up? I'm a new creature. Welcome to the stream. Let's go. Shout out. Round of applause from the live studio audience for I'm a new creature. What's up? 150 end of the year. Let's go. I think it's bearish, dude. I think 150 by the end of the year is bearish. I think we're gonna destroy that. Actually, I don't know. But at least 150. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, because of the unlock that Vanguard and Bank of America just did, right? So Vanguard was like a holdout, wouldn't let people nearish. I like that. Yeah, nearish. Nice. Bearish. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right here we're 100% Bitcoin all the way, and we don't do any kind of trading. We don't do any kind of runes or inscriptions or any of that trash. No other altcoins either. We just do Bitcoin. We just do self custody, and that's it. That's the plan here, right? Anyway, let me show you guys what we've been doing for the past couple of years, a little bit over a couple of years. That took us. Vanguard is stick. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. They create the FUD to give themselves opportunity to buy cheap. Like even if you think back historically, like who were the main perpetrators of like Bitcoin is money for criminals, and Bitcoin is bad, all this other stuff that people to this day continue to propagate those ideas, because that's what they heard like years ago, right? And the very companies that were pushing that agenda of making Bitcoin seem like it was like a criminal thing, or like illegal, or like scary, those are the very same companies now that are selling the IBIT, are selling like the ETFs, right? It's insane. And so yeah, it's all FUD, so they can get in cheap or cheaper, right? Curious Bitcoin in the house. What up? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Curious Bitcoin. Whole coiner incoming soon. Okay, let's jump into that. Let's jump into that real quick. Let me show you guys what we've been working on here on the show, and let's do that in the next segment of the show, which is called the Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern. We actually stack Bitcoin here every day of the week. Every weekday. And yeah, this is our proof of stack right here. We're gonna start off with 2025. You gonna smash by? No, I'm not gonna smash by the 1K today. I'm gonna try to DCA to the whole Bitcoin, right? So we got for 2025, our stack is showing down because we did a monster buy. We did a monster buy at, what is it? At here, we did a monster buy at 87,000 of $9,000. That was my smash buy, guys. We've been recruiting money as hard as possible to try to get to that whole Bitcoin. but I'm just shy and I've exhausted all the different things I could do to get extra liquidity. So we're going to continue to do the DCA until we get to the whole coin. But there it is. That purchase lowered or increased our overall average buy-in for 2025. That's why it's showing we're only up 0.31% for 2025. So it's not as impressive, but that's the story behind it. Okay. In 2024, we did like $20 buys, $80 buys, $40 buys, and we accumulated about 0.122 Bitcoin. We saved $7,345, and today it's worth $11,320, even with the dip. Okay, even with the dip. It's crazy, right? When did you start buying to get to this stage? It's a great question. I am a new creature. I'm going to show you in 1 second. Okay. Actually, I'm going to show you right now. Okay. We call this sheet our strategic Bitcoin reserve sheet. Okay. Again, this number is now skewed because we did a crazy smash buy last week of $9,000, right? So, okay. So we started the show on May 22nd, 2023. The idea behind it at the time was to save $5 a day instead of buying a coffee at Starbucks every morning on the way to work. We're going to take that coffee money and buy $5 of Bitcoin. And I was going to do it live on the stream. And I did do it live on the stream for over 2 years. Okay. So we're about 2.5 years in. 2.5 years in, our first Bitcoin purchase was when Bitcoin was at $27,360. And yes, my only regret, as maybe your only regret will be as well in the future, my only regret is today that I only bought $5. My only regret from this purchase is that I only bought $5, right? It's crazy. It's crazy, right? So over those 2.5 years, we through the DCA process, I would say if I only did the DCA process and didn't do any extra stuff, we got to about a quarter of a Bitcoin, 0.26, I think, 0.26, just pure DCA on the show. And then I came to the realization that wasn't going to be enough. You know, $20 a day, even $40 a day, every weekday will never get to one whole Bitcoin before it takes off, right? I'm afraid it would take off and leave us in the dust before it can get to one Bitcoin, right? One of the buys we did back on November 7th, 2023 was $1,000. That's like doubled, more than doubled, right? I think that was like a 100th episode, maybe. It might have been the 100th episode purchase. I forget. But we did lots of buying. And each line on this spreadsheet tracks the individual purchase, the date, how much we paid, and how much it's worth, and how much Bitcoin we got for it. And then this column here shows the weighted average. So depending on how much Bitcoin I bought at the current price, it takes it down to the Satoshi level, and you can see our average buy price for the 2.5 years is 65,705. So Bitcoin would have to go down to 65,000 for us to feel the pain or get this stack back to zero, which is amazing, right? But yeah, mostly, even though we're in a dip, most of our buys are in the green. And there they are. It's just straight up, you know? And there's nothing special, guys. Nothing significantly challenging or special. It's just the idea of doing it, committing to it, and just executing, right? If you tell yourself, oh, I'm only going to do $5 a week, right? Or $20 a week, or whatever, $100 a week or a month. Commit to it and just do it, and just regardless of the price. We never cared what the price was. Yeah, I mean, we cared to be excited, or we cared to be like, ooh, more Satoshis per dollar. Let's buy extra today, right? That's what we show here. See, when the price of Bitcoin was below our average buy price for that year, we would buy double. We'd buy a $40 stack. And if the price of Bitcoin was ever below the lowest price we've had that year, we would do a quadruple stack. We'd buy $80, right? But even then, like, here I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'm buying 4 times as much as I normally do at $39,000. Even now, like, even though I feel like that day I was overdoing it, right now I don't feel like I was overdoing it. Right now I feel like I should have done even more, right? So again, like for me and for most Bitcoiners that are like that understand how it works, the biggest regret that most Bitcoiners have is not going in harder, which is crazy. I know it sounds crazy, right? So that's how the show buy worked, right? That's how the show buys worked. And then we started figuring out different ways to add to the stack because, again, we weren't going to make it just by DCAing. So looking back on DCA, you always wish you'd been, yeah, exactly. You always wish you'd bought more. That's right, Curious Bitcoin. So throughout the past couple of years, I've tried to come up with different fun ways to trick myself or to encourage myself to continue to buy more Bitcoin, to change my perspective. And instead of buying stuff on Amazon and that I didn't really need, right? I would buy stuff. I would start selling the stuff I already have. And then just one of the things that we did there was we called it was it reclaimed Bitcoin? Let's see if I can find it. There it is. The reclaimed Bitcoin sheet, right? Even now it's only at 14% up, but still, the idea is the same. Like we had this is my favorite one. Where is it? The KitchenAid mixer here, right? I had a KitchenAid that was in my house for the past like 10 years. I used it maybe twice in 10 years, but it looked new, right? It still ran. It was perfect. It's serviceable. And so I was like, you know what? I paid $350 for it. I'm just gonna sell it because it's taking up space, and there's trapped energy in that mixer. There's trapped Bitcoin in that mixer. There's trapped Satoshis in that Bitcoin, in that mixer. So I sold it, and immediately, without even looking at the price, immediately took that $250 that I sold it for, and smash bought at $58,000. That mixer is now worth, or the value of that mixer is now $389, right? So I took something that was inanimate in my cupboard, taking up space, living in my house rent free for 10 years, doing nothing for me but losing value for me, and I converted it into Bitcoin, and now that Bitcoin stack is actually working for me, right? It's gained me $150, right? Which is amazing, which is pretty cool. So little things like that to keep you motivated, to say, okay, well, I promised myself I was going to stack $10 a day, $10 a week, $50 a week, but I'm not going to be able to make the $50. There's a bunch of ways you can make $50, $10, whatever, right? You probably have a bunch of stuff in your house that you don't use, that you haven't used in a long time, right? Anyways, the moral of this little story here is that if I ever decide I need a KitchenAid, right, a mixer, I can buy it again. I can buy a used one for $250 and just pocket the difference, right? It's amazing. So that's how you do it. Same thing with the sewing machine. I bought it for $100. I used it once or twice because my mom was visiting. She wanted a sewing machine. I sold it for $80. Yeah, I lost $20 on that sale, but I immediately bought Bitcoin with that sale money, and now it's worth $136. So I made money. I made money on a used thing that I sold, and I freed up space in my house, and I converted that trapped energy in that sewing machine. I converted it to Bitcoin, and now it's doing better for me than if I had the sewing machine. Okay, again, little things like that will add up. You know, they will add up. Like right now, we're what, I don't know, about $200 up, right? But when Bitcoin was like at 125,000, 126,000, we were like up a lot more on those salvaged Satoshis, I guess you could say, or reclaimed Bitcoin. It's pretty wild. All right. Then, what else did we do? Oh, yeah. We did what we call the 100 days of the 100-day Bitcoin savings challenge. We did that twice. We did two runs of that. And that was basically, you save in Bitcoin. You take a spreadsheet that I have here, and you do 100 days of saving in Bitcoin. Each day is a line on your spreadsheet, and you have 100 lines. And for example, on line 1, you buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. On line 50, you buy $50 worth of Bitcoin. On line 100, you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. You get it, right? And you don't have to do the lines in order. So if you're flush with cash, you can buy the $100 line, the $99 line, right? If you're struggling to make it to the next paycheck, but and you want to just continue the challenge, then you buy the $1 line, the $2 line, right? And then you can only buy one line per day, and it runs for 100 days. Okay, and you end up saving about $5,000 worth of about $5,000. And you're saving in Bitcoin. So the idea is just a way to challenge yourself to save in Bitcoin, and it's fun. It's definitely a challenge. So it's not easy to figure out a way to save or generate an additional $5,000 in it's about 3 months. It takes about 3 months to do the challenge. So it's challenging. So we did that twice. We did that in 2024, and we did it again in 2025. So unfortunately though, our challenge for this year is way in the negative. Let me show you guys. So we did the Bitcoin savings challenge. I missed one. I haven't bought $1. But basically I set aside $5,049. It'll be $5,050 when I do the $1 buy here. And I'm down 18% because I was buying. We did the challenge when it was like super high, like it was 118. Even so it was tough. But the Satoshis are still accounted for, and they're in our spreadsheet here. This is the accumulation of two 100-day challenges. Okay. What else did we do? We did donations. So when we get towards the end of the show, I put up the screen, and people can donate here, right, to the show. They can zap me some sats, and we track every single sat that we get from donations right here. And if you send a message with your donation, we save it in here. As long as it's not what do you call it, like rude or weird. We'll put the message here. So some of the cool messages we've had in the past. One of our watchers, one of our stackers here, Carlos Jaramillo. He went to the Amazon jungle, and he was like, I like to pretend like he was up on top of a tree somewhere trying to get signal, so he could zap me 1,000 sats from the Amazon jungle. But he said it wasn't that bad. He said it just did from his hotel, which is But in my mind, I like to pretend like he had to climb up a really tall tree to get signal and send me 1,000 sats directly from the Amazon jungle, which is crazy. We have a couple of anonymous donors. Stack the facts. That's right. A couple of big donations from Satwise Janks in the house. Awesome watcher or stacker, and dropped me a $22 donation, which is amazing. I think that's the biggest donation we've received. But yeah, all of this is also accounted for on the main spreadsheet right here. And we did a bunch of other things to motivate myself to stack even harder. I have let me see if I can bring it up real quick. It's just funny. It's super funny. Let's see. I noticed that there it is, and then this one too. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so I wanted to get a little motorcycle so that I could commute to my jiu-jitsu class and not have to drive my 8-cylinder Tundra, right? Because I was going to jiu-jitsu class in the morning, and then having to go back to jiu-jitsu class in the evening for my kids' class, right? And I work from home, so I don't drive that much. But that was kind of a lot of driving, right? So I figured I would take the Grom for my session to do jiu-jitsu, and I would take the truck or my wife's car for the afternoon session when I take the kids. And in saving, in riding the Grom as opposed to driving the Tundra, I did the math at the time, and based on the price of gas and the mileage on the Grom and the mileage on the truck, I was getting about a 21-cent savings in gas per mile by riding the Grom instead of driving the truck. So what I did, I said, okay, that's cool. Let's see if we can spread the news about Bitcoin even more by using this Grom, and maybe this Grom will pay for itself with mileage, right? So that's what we did. I started a whole another channel. It's called 21 Moto, and it's basically moto vlogs and Bitcoin, right? It's pretty funny to see it. And I ride around on the Grom, I modify it, and it's doing okay. That channel is at 303 subscribers, which is not bad at all. And the best part is we have a tracker for that channel as well. We did, so here on this day I rode for 66 miles, and 66 miles times 21 cents is $13.73. And at the time when I put on those miles, the price of Bitcoin was at 59,167 miles. So that $13 has turned into $21 since then. And by doing a bunch of fancy math, we figured out that it would take me about 27,000 miles on the Grom to break even, right? And since we're doing the savings in Bitcoin, we should be able to break even faster than we expected, because the value of our savings, since they are in Bitcoin, go up in value. And so you need less and less miles to break even on the Grom the longer you hold the Bitcoin that you've been saving for the 21 cents. Okay, I know it's complicated, but here it is, a quick little breakdown. So if I was just holding the cash that I saved, if I was just saving the 21 cents per mile, if I just put $13.73 in my bank account, I would still need 25,642 miles to break even. But since I saved it in Bitcoin, I only need 25,174 miles to break even. I have a lot of miles to go, guys. I haven't been riding in a while too. So I am 469 miles ahead of schedule because, again, the savings are in Bitcoin. Okay, so that was another way we did to kind of get a little bit extra motivation to stack. That's noted right here. Side hustles. It's exactly what it sounds like. Side hustles. I do random stuff. Like, I have a lot of hidden talents, I guess you could say. Wait, that sounds weird. I have a lot of things I like to do. So I do music. I MC events if invited to do so. And those are all little paid gigs, you know. What else? I played accordion on TikTok for a while, and I made friends with a guy that makes this little practice device, practice accordion. And I'm one of his distributors on my website. I sell little practice accordions for the guy, and that generates extra revenue too. And that gets accounted for in the side hustles column. It's amazing, right? So if I were to go out there and mow my neighbor's lawn and he paid me, that would be accounted for here in the side hustles. Okay. So side hustles are just any other creative, fun way, legal, fun way to generate more revenue. Okay. And the big elephant in the room is this one. I took out a loan for, what was a loan for? I took out a loan for $50,000 for $50,000, and immediately smash bought Bitcoin. Smash bought Bitcoin, and the price I bought at was at $113,000. Okay, so I'm paying this loan off every month, and it basically locks in the purchase price of $113,000 for the term for the length of that loan, which is about I think it's 7 years. Okay, so for the next 7 years, I'll be locked in to $113,000 Bitcoin. Right now, it's working against me because Bitcoin is down, and making that payment to the loan forces me to buy Bitcoin at 113,000, right? When I could be buying it right now at 92,000. But I think over the span of those 5 or 7 years, I think it's 5 years. Over the span of those 5 years, Bitcoin will be a lot higher than 113,000, and that's when I'll be making my revenge. Okay, so there you go. That's the biggest one, and then the SBS revenue. SBS means the Stack Bitcoin show. This is our show, and we have some products that I put out. Of course, it's amazing. So I would do a strategic Bitcoin call. You know you want to buy Bitcoin. You know it's you want to make it part of your strategy, but you don't know how to actually do it. You don't know where to buy it. You don't know how to save it, how to hold it, how to set up your wallet. You can do a one-on-one call with me that's like private, and I can show you how to set everything up in a way that doesn't compromise your security or your seed phrase or any of that stuff. Okay, I can help you come up with a solution. This is not a should I buy Bitcoin call. This is a I've already decided to buy Bitcoin. Can you teach me how to do it, how to actually do it? It's a technical call. It's not a financial advice call. So that's super important. And you come up with your strategy. Once your strategy is in place, we come up with a storage strategy, with where to buy it, how to hold it, and how to plan, that kind of stuff. Okay. And then if you don't need help with that, but you like the way that we do our Bitcoin tracking here, you can get the template. This is the template here, right? And actually, here it is. There it is, the Bitcoin tracking sheet premium edition, right? You buy it, you go here, you click on it, you pay, what is it, $17. You pay $17 and you get a copy of my tracking sheet, and it comes with instructions and a video on how to use it, what all the different fields mean. And you can basically track your Bitcoin purchases like I'm doing here, where you can track the date, the purchase price, the amount you bought, what it's worth in today's price, how much Bitcoin you actually bought when you bought it, in terms of Satoshis, how much it is, your overall stack, how much you have in Bitcoin, how much you have in terms of Satoshis, and then it shows you all this stuff. So you can easily track it and see if you're making progress. And honestly, the fun part about doing these kind of spreadsheets is it inspires you to save more. When you look at the spreadsheet and you look back and say like, oh man, 2.5 years ago, that $5 is now $16. Dang, I should have done more, right? Even at like, whatever, let's see, this year, 2025, maybe not 2025. 2025 is a lot in the red, but still, even then, Bitcoin was at 81. So it's a bunch of green here, right? And looking back to like your big buys, like this, I bought 365. I think it was like, we're doing something. It was like celebrating something, but 365, and it's not worth 524, right? It's motivational. It helps you stay consistent. It helps you stay inspired to continue to save, right? All right, I hear you. Some of you guys might be saying, "Damn, dude, well, how are you so convicted? Why are you so sure that Bitcoin is gonna go up? Like, you're going all in on that. How are you so sure about it? You know?" And it's just math. It's just math, right? This national debt here represents. This is just part of what the money supply is going to be, right? And it ain't going down, right? So it's just simple math. If you have a piece of value and you split it up into more pieces, each piece is worth less, right? Like the pizza, guys. If you have a pizza and you slice it into 8 slices, then 1 slice is pretty good. Maybe 2 slices will fill you up. But if you have a pizza and you slice it into 38.4 trillion slices, do you think you're going to be full off 2 slices? Do you think you're going to be full off of 40 slices? Probably not, right? So the money is so diluted and will continue to be diluted because they cannot stop printing money. They can delay it a little bit, but eventually they still got to open up the floodgates or the economy crashes, right? The system is built on debt. The system is built on perpetually expanding the supply, because when they expand the money supply, they steal the value from people that save in that currency to make up for the difference. And it's called inflation, and it's theft, right? And so the way you protect yourself from that is to save in a system that cannot be manipulated like that cannot increase the supply, right? And Bitcoin's capped at 21 million, so that's why we're there. Okay, straight up. What is it? Just straight up. Yeah, something like that. I forget the phrase. Is it straightforward? Straightforward. But yeah, so when you ask, okay, why are you doing that? Well, it's because I understand that no matter who's in office, right? No matter if there's tariffs, even though tariffs are like the worst idea, it's causing more inflation, right? If there's tariffs, if there's no tariffs, if it's a Republican, if it's Democrat, whoever's in office, right, is going to abuse the money printing power. Like the government has like a superpower, right? They can make money out of thin air. Not only does the government have that, but the banks have that too, because when banks issue debt, they create money too, right? And so they're abusing that. They're abusing that power, and when they can do that, regardless of who's in office, they can't stop doing it. So that guarantees that the money supply will continue to increase. And when the money supply increases, you need more and more of those weaker dollars to buy the same amount of Bitcoin. And guess what? You already bought the Bitcoin. So that's what it is. And I'm not investing with money that I need tomorrow. I'm not investing with money that I need next week, next month, next year, right? I'm investing with money that I am okay with not touching for at least 4 years, at least the full cycle, right? So far for the show, we've been in Bitcoin for about 2.5 years. We haven't even done our full cycle yet with Bitcoin, right? But we're doing pretty good. So if it's your first time here, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. We're almost there. We are, 2% away? That sounds crazy. 2% away from 1 Bitcoin. No, 1% away from 1 whole Bitcoin. We are actually... Oh, we need to do the actual purchase today. Okay, let's do the purchase for today. Let's stack a little Bitcoin right now. So to commemorate today's episode, we're going to go a little bit outside of our normal purchasing schedule. And we're going to buy just enough to get us to $1,000 away from one Bitcoin. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So we're here, and we are at $151.97 away from 1 whole Bitcoin. So we're gonna do a $52 purchase today, so that we can get to $1,000 away or sub $1,000 away and make it more exciting. Okay, so here we go. Now that we know how much Bitcoin we're going to buy, there's only one thing left to do. It's time to stack some Bitcoin, baby. Let's go. All right. Here we go. As you all know, I like to buy my Bitcoin over on Strike. Open up that app. Strike. Check out the privacy. There it is. And we're buying. Well, now it's showing me that we're $1,051.81 away from 1 Bitcoin. So I'm going to buy $52. No, it's probably going to be some fees. Let's buy 55. $55 with the Bitcoin right now. I hit the buy button. I'll type in $55. I cut the music. I hit the drum roll, please. Here we go. Buying $55 with the Bitcoin right now live during the stream. Oh, gotta confirm that. There it is. I'm shaking the phone so you can't see my bank account. There it is. Bam. Purchased 5,904 Satoshis. Let's add that to the stack. That's exciting. We're getting there. We're getting there. There we go. Let's see what this does for us. First, we're going to track it in the 2025 spreadsheet. Oh, yeah. Stacking. Hopefully inspiring you to stack as well. The price of Bitcoin we deserve today is $92,428.86 Bitcoin. We purchased $55 worth, and that got us 0.0005904 Bitcoin. In other words, it got us 59,040 Satoshis that have been added to the stack. All right, now we're going to take this data and bring it over to the full tracker. As you can see, we're $1,051.67 away from a Bitcoin. But let's see what it does when we add this $55 purchase here. Bam. Do my weighted average. Oops. My weighted average conversion here. There it is. Okay. So as of today's purchase, we are our average buy price, our average our average entry cost is $65,745, and drum roll. We are at. Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, baby. We're at 3-digit dollars away from the one whole coin. I know, it's exciting. If you want to help us get there sooner and be immortalized in our donations tracker, there it is. You can scan that QR code. You can scan this QR code and donate to the show. If you donate to the show while we're live, you gotta let me know in the chat so I can highlight it and key it in to the spreadsheet live on the stream. Okay. So I think the closer we get to the 1 Bitcoin, people might get motivated or tempted to be the one that pushes us over the edge. So I'm not gonna not encourage you to do that. If you want to do that, that'd be fantastic. And then we would have accomplished the goal of the show that took us a little bit over 2.5 years to go from 0 BTC to 1 whole coin. Man, I can feel it. I can feel it. I have my commemorative Bitcoin here, right? If you want to buy this Bitcoin I'll give it to you half off. Send me $45,000 and I'll send you this. I'm just kidding. Don't do that, people. Okay, don't do that. Bitcoin is digital. There's no physical Bitcoin. Okay, it's just a prop. It's just a prop to commemorate the show getting to 1 Bitcoin. Almost. We're almost there. Almost there. And then what happens when we get there? I don't know. We have to figure out what the plan is going to be. What happens when we get to 1 whole coin? What should we do? What should we do? Do you have 1 UTXO? What's your thought process on that minimum UTXO size, max size? Great question, Curious Bitcoin. I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. Let's talk about that. Okay, so we're moving. We don't have 1 UTXO. We have the way I structured it for the show is, I think it's 0.01 Bitcoin UTXO, 0.01 size UTXOs, and like the transaction fees are like 2 sats per VByte right now. So like it's a great time to do that, to consolidate if you haven't already. What we do in order for us to consolidate and spend as little sats as possible is I don't move the amount of Bitcoin off of the exchange until it's at 0.01 Bitcoin. I know it's a lot. So that I can have I can have a UTXO that's for that amount, and I have to go and do it again with a bunch of different little UTXOs, right? And I know there's a risk there, right? And there's a risk of an exchange going down or whatever, but when I do it that way, and I use the strike, the slowest option, the overnight one, right? And they don't charge you a fee. So the only fee I'm paying on the Bitcoin purchase, besides like the spread, is the little fee that you get when you make the purchase, right? Unfortunately for me, I'm not able to automate it like you can. Like if you can just set up your Strike app to buy, for example, for me, $20 a day or $40 a day, and it just does it for you, then they don't charge you additional fees for that, which is amazing. But unfortunately, to do the show, I have to show you the screen and me actually buying it. So I have to just eat the cost of the fees, which is fine, right? But yeah, that's pretty much how we roll around here. So there it is, just like that. Let's start the track. That signals the end of today's episode. I want to say thank you to every single one of you guys for tuning in. Aaron599, we got Curious Bitcoin in the house. Thanks for tuning in. Hard Huddle, the legend himself. I am a new creature. Thanks for tuning in today as well. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. Leave me a comment, say hi, and I will shout you out on tomorrow's episode. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. We'll be back at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye, guys.